Broadcasting deep from inside Uranus, from a zero-gravity sub-level Echo Cloud platform and spliced and hacked together on the back of an old PCB board. This is the Gravity.
Today's VACUOUS is the hardest thing about your work. I won't say it's not hard. How do I put this? I do it because I love it. The hardest bit is being your own boss, is that you have no get-outs. You can't blame somebody else. They didn't turn up, or you got a little bit lazy on that day or something. You have to turn up, otherwise things don't work. So being your own boss is pretty hard. But I think the hardness makes me work harder. Another hard thing of my job is building things that aren't necessarily going to be used straight away. In a normal 9-to-5 job, you have a series of tasks and you have a role that you need to do, and then normally you leave at a certain time and go into your evening life or home life. So work life, home life. Whereas when you work for yourself and you work on lots of different side projects, video content, promote to a remote audience, sometimes you don't know who that audience is, then sometimes the results are not immediate, so you kind of experimenting a lot. And I think that's one of the hardest parts of my job, is that, you know, I'm trying to maintain an income but balance that out with effort and time. I definitely spend a lot more time working on something that I'm passionate about versus a job from a client that has a predetermined amount of assets or work needed for a certain amount of money. I'm finding that while it's not hard to transition, it takes a lot longer to find a stable base. So I think that's the hardest part of my job. The hardest part of a job that I used to have would be working with the other people in the team, the politics of it all, hitting a wall in terms of the infrastructure of a business. And when you work for yourself, you can set those parameters, you can set the infrastructure yourself. Although there's a lot of reliance on you to get it right, when you work for somebody or work in a business, that role, there's a lot of additional stuff that goes on around the role, and you can end up doing more work on that than the actual job itself. I think that was the hardest thing for me in a normal job, if you like, and I think the transition to a stable income is probably the hardest thing for an entrepreneur. I think it depends. I wouldn't call myself an entrepreneur. I would call myself somebody who's chasing down the thing that they love to make, the thing that doesn't frustrate them, something that they enjoy to jump out of bed and do every day.
Been super wheezy the last couple of days. Well, I've actually had this for the last week or so. My chest has been really bad. I'm kind of keeping to the topics of VEDA at the moment, SSSVEDA, instead of like coming out with my own stuff, because I'm just focused on that stuff, the course building, and constantly, like today, I've spent all day converting all the courses into a format that will work better on Amazon Video Direct, and that requires additional assets. So it needs 16:9 clips and 4:3 clips, like images and backgrounds and stuff like that, things that I haven't got time to spend time on, so I can kind of outsource that a little bit and get some help with that. But I kind of want to get that strand running as well. So the Amazon Video Direct strand, I've got a strand on YouTube, I've got an AdSense strand, I've got the Skillshare strand. I'm trying to build up all those different strands. And I know the topic today is that what's the hardest thing about your job? I have to combine the everyday living and my space where I currently make stuff in is one and the same. So it's kind of an energy balance, if you can understand that. And I think a lot of people will understand there's kind of a rhythm to a day. My kind of rhythm is early morning. I like to get things done before lunchtime, especially if it's video. I don't mind working on things in the afternoon, but there's very little room for entertainment and fun at the moment, because I feel like the work as an independent, if you like, very kind of almost very seasonal. I never realized it before, but in winter time, obviously nobody's really around, nobody's signing contracts, and I've started to see a difference in the way that I can work with virtual working, because you're open up to a global marketplace, in terms of the Western world. So I might get jobs from America, I might get some from Europe, and that's interesting to me because that work is kind of constant. You don't necessarily have the same client twice, and it's a mixed bag every day, and obviously every day you're kind of enhancing and changing your skills as well. I think the difficulty is just the energy levels, making sure your energy levels match your effort levels, your mental health levels, trying to fit in, you know, good eating around that, and taking time out for sort of recreational keeping fit. So that's that's the hardest part, because with a normal job, with a 9 to 5, 8-hour, 12-hour job, kind of know what you're going to get, you know how many hours you're going to do, you know how much money you're going to get. The only problem with that is, or at least I found for me personally, is that I have this other thread of creativity running, which is like, oh, I want to make this, or I want to be involved with that, or I want to play with this. And it always got in the way of my working, because I kind of wanted to use some of those creative ideas in my job. Most people don't want you to be creative within your job. They want you to just work within the confines of it, which can be frustrating if you can see a way that something can be optimized, save you time, save the company money, things like that. And I think that's a lot of reasons why people work for themselves nowadays. They like to have ownership of everything, so that you can look at it as a whole, you know, and you can frame it as a whole, instead of part of it is in sales or part of it is in marketing, and you're working within a company trying to deliver your best work when the rest of the team around it either might not work, or your work's not right because it wasn't communicated right. I think there's something to be said about having that entrepreneurial spirit, even though I hate the word entrepreneurial now. I hate the word social media, creative, entrepreneurial. So many words that leave a really horrible taste in my mouth these days. I've had to apply some of the marketing rules to get my courses out there, to get some traction, to be able to bring some money in, because I'm literally surviving from what I do on the web. I don't have a full-time job. I have ideas of what I would like to be doing full-time. That requires resources and money and resources that you would normally have from a job, that you would either invest or store in a bank account, or invest in something else to build that fund, that nest of money, if you like. And so when you're having to work on your own work, the difficulty is that you're kind of balancing bringing money in to pay bills and bringing money in to further getting closer to that goal. Like for me, I have a couple of goals. I really want to be mobile on the road, be almost like location independent, nomadic. And so it's a real hard balance between having a location, not having a location, the issues that go along with it, having a regular amount of money coming in. And that's why I'm putting all the work in now. I think I'm putting all the effort in now, building the foundations, so it gives me a bit more flexibility to experiment more, I think, on the road. And that's kind of what I wanted to say today. Start of a new week tomorrow, Monday. We're also halfway into VACUOUS, so congratulations to everybody who's managed to post a video every day. It gets a little bit tiring in about a week's time, so be aware of that. I know a lot of people are bulk making their content, which is great, but I would also like to see kind of like maybe a little bit of video from your day, just to let me know how your day went, because I think we leave a lot of bits out that we shouldn't. It will help us engage with each other as people rather than just bits of content. All right, I'm done. Time for soups.
Thanks for watching today. Remember, you cannot beat time. Time is a metric we cannot outrun. Spend your time wisely. Give to those that have less of it. Create more for yourself by taking time out to be realistic. Share the emotive wealthy fairly. Kiss and hug the ones you love. Chase down the journey. Fire your social media manager.